You're listening to Stories for Monsters Episode 6, Crosses.
What happened after the beetles?
Don't you want to hear more about Fiametta? I think her story is actually much more fascinating
You can tell me about Fia later. I want to hear about the beetles now.
There was this one time with an ocean of fire and a haunted pirate ship and...
You're wasting your time.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, what did happen?
After the beetles, the city was granted a week of rest. Or most of them, anyway. His lordship deigned to give everyone a break except for his knights. Instead of rest, they were sent into the streets to hunt whoever was responsible. One of the night watchmen confessed to seeing some strange movement, but never being able to follow for the sake of his patrolling orders. His lordship put the guard on the case, gave him a team and free rein, and he did well. It wasn't long before the old catacombs were searched, then the underground church was discovered too. Or what was left after we had all abandoned the old cavern. From that point on, Mother and Father were more cautious than ever. They hid our books and hymnals. They burned some of the paintings. They bought more flowers and perfumes to hide the scents left by certain plants and rituals. And we were told to stay home and not to open the door for anyone. Not even them. If someone did come in, it would be by force, or because they had a key. We would answer any and all questions quickly and concisely. Mother and Father are working today, so we are looking after the house. We would not speak of the church. We would not speak of the old gods. We would not hum. We could not speak ill of the king or his lordship. We would not remove the flowers from our chests. In retrospect, I wonder how much I could have understood then. I was so young. Each day they would depart for work. They exuded energy and wore unwavering smiles, and each night they would return later. They were still smiling, but it seemed wrong. More absent, less colorful than the morning before. They argued a lot about what was to come. They always stopped when they noticed me or your father. We didn't think of it too much. There wasn't much to be done while we were stuck inside, so our biggest concern day to day was fending off boredom. The most interaction we had was with the neighbor's daughter or her pet. We We really didn't know which. She was a werecat with bright magenta eyes, called Jyniper. We called her Jyn for short. Sometimes she would play tic-tac-toe with us from the windowsill. She usually won. Other times, she would tell us stories about what was really happening outside.
Smithwick's been promoted again. Lately, he's been stringing up anybody who even looks at him funny. And the ones who really piss him off get piked and put on display in the town square.
What do you mean?
He noticed some dumb thing happening to people's eyes. Started with the ones who led the expedition into the catacombs. First, their eyes started to get all gray and dull. Then, well, something happens to their pupils.
Come on, spit it out.
Alright. They turn into these cross-shaped slits. And then their faces. They go completely slack. And that's it. They're dead. Or they may as well be. They lose all control of themselves. Smithwick noticed when one of those underground freaks attacked him. Word on the street changes. Some people say it was his own sorcerer. Tried to incinerate him along with the entire troop. Others say it was a bard who saw them go in. Tried to sing him a cursed lullaby. One that wouldn't reopen all your old wounds until you bleed to death. But it was some sort of magic. And that's all Smithwick needed to turn it into a witch hunt for the mindless and underground mages. So you better watch out. He may think you're a couple witches staying inside like hermits, avoiding the sunlight.
I'm not a witch. I asked if we were witches that night. and our parents gave us the strangest look.
And who gave you that idea?
Said mother and father.
No, son. Being different doesn't make you a witch.
I asked if the mindless ones with crosses for eyes would come to kill us too. And they said no. And they warned me never to remove the flower from my chest.
Who has polluted your little mind with such fear and doubt?
Jyniper, our neighbor, was telling us scary stories again.
Jyniper?
Yes.
Our neighbor?
Yeah, the one with the kind of dark pink eyes over there.
All right.
They dropped the subject and busied themselves. Mother cooked dinner. She made a strange meat pie and a bitter tea. They both had a peculiar, ruddy cloudiness to them. They smelled overripe and sour. But it was all we really had to eat at the time. Father did as he usually did. He studied his scrolls, the ones he'd hidden behind the bookcase. And then we hummed, and then we slept. The next day, Jyniper visited again. She played a little bit, and she said she had to leave early because she was tired. Jen never really got tired, so we just let her go. It looked like she had visitors, later in the day anyway. I hoped I hadn't made a fool of myself, getting scared over a story. Because she didn't come back after that, not after...
After what?
After it.
Yeah,
After
what?
After I spilled the beans about us having a visitor, even though we were told not to. We saw her plenty outside of the house after things calmed down a little, but always at the same spot in the town square.
I'm confused. I thought there would be more. Were the people with crosses for eyes real? And did things get back to normal after the beetles? And I thought your dad was...
Children, I'm home.
I have to go. Another time.
Stories for Monsters is a production of Rhetorical Answers. It is written, directed, produced, and primarily voiced by Fable McDaniel. The voice of Abigail is Tiahna Bredenkamp. The voice of Crystal is Dariane Davis. The voices of Jyniper and the Mother are Lauren McDaniel. Original music by Rhetorical Answers. Original art by Kyle Newbridge. Special thanks to my patrons, and a big shout out to Adrian, Cindy, Darian, Jay, Marilyn, and Tiahna. This would be impossible without your support. Finally, thank you to my players for inspiring me to make such a fantastical world. If you like this and want more information, visit the website at rhetoricalanswers.net. And if you want to help support the show, and the music, and me making cool new things, please check out patreon.com/answers. Patrons get free stuff, surprises, early ad-free access, prompts, behind-the-scenes peeks at stuff, and their name in the credits. It's loads of fun. But most importantly, patrons are the reason I can even do this at all. And I hope that one day, with enough of you, I'll be able to tackle more ambitious projects and support myself doing this full-time. Thanks for listening, and thanks for subscribing. Late. Next time, a journey to Eschaton's distant shore, meet Roshnu, in Stories for Monsters Episode 7, Death's Mercy.